Hello, viewers, and welcome to the latest episode of the GA Huddle. I'm with Cleve Tzung, CEO of Passport Technology. Cleve, thanks very much for appearing again on the GA Huddle.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure to have you on. We're going to talk Passport Technology today, payments more broadly, and also a bit about G2E, which is coming right up. To start off with, I wanted to, as I say, welcome back to the Huddle because you've been on before. Can you update our viewers on the latest developments at the company since the last time you spoke to us?
Yeah, it seems like we've been busy on all fronts. We've been busy with products, enhancing, developing new products. We've been busy growing the business. We've hired a number of people to handle some of that growth. We've hired technicians, we've hired developers, we hired a CFO. A lot of this work has actually culminated in a restructuring, which we announced, and the restructuring is really kind of, it sort of brings together all of the elements that we're talking about. It aligns our resources, the strengths of our people with where we're headed, and it sort of shows you kind of where we're going as a company strategically. So, we hired a CFO, Chad Boynak, and he's been instrumental in actually streamlining a lot of financial processes behind the company. He's taking that expertise and he's actually streamlining a lot of the operations of the company as well. So things like the supply chain, as an example. So things that can really impact and improve the business operations the same way he's done in the financial operations. The product developers that we hired, we're enhancing and creating new products all the time. One of the things that we've done is when we acquired our loyalty business, we kept that business somewhat separate for a period of time so that they could not only kind of develop their products on their own, but to a certain extent, part of the transaction that we engaged in, they had an earn-out in their transaction, and so we allowed them to be sort of separate. What we found is that Diallo has an immense experience, and he's the founder. Diallo Gordon is the founder of Lush. He has immense experience in payments, and those products logically belong together. And a lot of the enhancements that we're making bring kind of the loyalty and the payments business together. And so it made a lot of sense to bring those two sort of organizations a little closer together, bring the developers together, and really create an ecosystem of payments and loyalty. So that's a lot of the stuff that we've been busy on.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like you have been busy, and I think you may have accidentally given me the perfect segue into the next question, because you mentioned Diallo and he obviously spoke to us for the G2E preview at Gaming America, and my next question previews G2E, so I don't know if that was a psychic move on your part, but that's a perfect segue. But as I say, Diallo, as you say, smooth operator. When it comes to G2E, Passport Technology, I want to ask you about your specific products that you'll be showcasing in my next question, so keep that a little bit separate. But before we get to the products, in terms of your main aims and focuses, what are you looking to get out of the show?
There's a couple different things. At a very high level, we're aiming to introduce Passport to customers that maybe haven't heard of us. So at that level, what we're trying to do is we're trying to showcase our broad set of products that we have. We have products that touch all forms of payments and all forms of loyalty, and we feel that they're best in class. So we're trying to introduce that to a set of customers that maybe is walking the floor, maybe has heard of us, doesn't know exactly who we are, but would like to know more. So that's number one. Number two is for the customers that do know who we are. They might be customers that we have. They might be customers that have received some pitches from our salespeople or some introductions to us. We're trying to show them what's new. We're trying to show them all the enhancements that we have across all of our product lines, and we have quite a number of those as well. So those are the two main things that we're trying to sort of bring out at G2E. But the other thing too is it's an opportunity for people to really meet our people. I think a lot of times the sort of front-facing people, the salespeople, the relationship managers, the C-suite, those are sort of people that you meet. But really, we bring some of our developers and some of our other sort of folks to G2E as well, and it's an opportunity for people to meet those people. And Passport's really just a collection of individuals who are just super passionate about the business. They eat, breathe, and sleep the business, and that really shows up in some of the products that we have, the care that they take with the products, the passion that they have for the customer's business, and it's a great opportunity for people to see that. So I'm really excited about introducing our people to some of our potential customers.
Certainly, I think you can definitely see how a show like G2E is a great opportunity for a developer, like you say, to really show their knowledge, and especially as you say, if they have a passion for the business, that'll just come through in conversation. And yeah, as you say, I think that's a great platform, G2E, a trade show, to do that kind of thing. If we to talk about the products that perhaps those developers might be talking about on the show floor, and of course yourself too. Is there going to be a big focus on Lush and Data Stream, and are there any other products that are going to be front of mind for Passport?
Yeah, I think those two are definitely very important to us. So on the loyalty front, on the Lush business, we have a number of enhancements that we've added to the business. We've been growing that business. There are some kind of key drivers of that business. There's that drive the software. There's an Origins API, which is a connector to kind of all the different sort of touch points that you might have in a resort. That's a little bit harder to show, but we can certainly show some of the outputs of those connections. So we have that. On our cash kiosk, our cash stream kiosk, we have a number of enhancements there, a number of product enhancements there, both on the debit side of things, as well as on some of the other ways that customers can get their money and sort of break bills. And so a lot of enhancements on that front as well. On some of our kind of stalwarts, like our live cage, we have some software enhancements there as well. And these are all customer-led enhancements. These are things that some of our major customers have asked for. Some and so providing those and letting people know what those look like. And we're always sort of focused on what are the customers asking for and how do we apply those, and are these types of things that other customers might want to use or might want to have. So we're going to show off all of those. And then we also have a table debit product. That's a new product that we're going to be showcasing as well. So product enhancements across the board, some new products here and there. Data Stream is a product that there's a piece of data stream which is a little bit hard to convey at a show. It's something that it's a processing, it's our data switch that sort of drives all of our transactions. So it sort of sits behind all of our transactions. So what it really does is adds a lot of reliability, and it puts us in control of a lot of different aspects of the transaction that can really benefit our customers. Now, where that manifests itself is we've actually created some products that sit on the kiosk that are enabled by the fact that we have data stream. So we'll show off some of those as well. So we're very excited about those.
Mm-hmm. I'm really interested in your point about sort of customer-led enhancements. If it's okay with you, I'd like to ask, are those actually the most important developments you can make to a product, something that the customers kind of ask for, so you therefore know the demand is there to enhance that product and get that aspect exactly right?
There are definitely some very, very important customer-led enhancements. We're always listening to our customer. We're always getting their feedback. We're always trying to understand kind of how do we make our products better. So those are definitely important. And what we've tried to do is really kind of focus our efforts on the types of enhancements that really kind of lead to real benefits for the customers. In some cases, it's important actually to understand what the customer is telling you in terms of what kind of enhancements that they want, but it's also important to understand kind of what's the problem that they're trying to solve. In other words, if there's an enhancement that they want that is very, very technical or very detailed, we look at that enhancement, we say we can do that, but is there something better that we can do here? Okay, what is the problem that we're really trying to solve here for this customer? And we'll have that discussion with them. And then potentially it can lead to a different type of enhancement that we make for the product. And so we'll do that. And so that's how we listen to the customer, and that's how we create some of these enhancements. The other ones that are important are just the things that sometimes you're really trying to develop to an endpoint on some of these things. And we're really trying to develop for what the customer is going to want next. What is the customer going to ask for next? And we're trying to anticipate that. So in those cases, that's a little bit less about listening to the customer in that case. And it's a little bit more about trying to anticipate what they might need or want in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And if we're to talk quite broadly at G2E, but also beyond, with there being so many sort of payment suppliers and quite a lot of competition within the gaming field as well, how does a payments supplier truly stand out? Because obviously the aim is to be as frictionless, as seamless as possible, and to try and achieve that is obviously not a bad thing. But a lot of companies are trying to achieve exactly that. So a company like Passport Technology, how do you aim to truly stand out?
It's one of the things that, which is why I'm excited for people to meet our own people, to understand like the passion that they have for the business. How we stand out is we our people try and do all the little things right. And those little things, those details manifest themselves in kind of just the key touch points for a casino, you know, reliability, flexibility, speed, all the things that really sort of drive a casino's business. Those are all the little things that you do right. Keep your systems running, keep them running well, design them in a way that's easy for the patrons to use. So those are just the very basic touch points. Beyond that, when you start talking about what are the enhancements that kind of differentiate yourselves, those are the products that you have. What kind of products are you adding? Are you listening to your customer? Are you providing them the products that they need? And then the third is kind of some of the stuff that we have that I think a lot of customers, I don't want to say they necessarily um, struggle to have them, but part of where we're heading is just this loyalty business that we have, this lush business that DL has created. We feel is, you know, it is best in class.
Mm.
And when you start to marry that capability, and when you start to add on to that capability and the things you can do with that, and you're talking about like, how do I create more value out of a customer that's in a casino? How do I attract more customers? How do I retain them? How do I get them to come back? Those are all sort of value propositions that when you combine them with payments and what you can do with payments, those are very powerful, and that's how we ultimately will differentiate ourselves.
Yeah, again, that makes a lot of sense and take care of quite an important area. If we're to look at, you mentioned earlier, you hired a CFO, and that there's been a lot of development and some expansion. When you spoke to us for the May June issue of Gaming America as well, you mentioned having a national sales force now. So
Mhm.
obviously there's progress and there's expansion. And what has that really enabled you to do, and what kind of doors has that opened up for you? But at the same time, have there been any sort of maybe growing pains and challenges that new challenges that you've had to overcome as a result too?
Yeah, so what it's allowed us to do is it's really allowed us to get the word out about who we are to a much broader audience, to a nationwide audience. And that's important because once we tell people who we are, once we tell people about the product, they're naturally gravitate towards it. We talk about the advantages of what we do. We talk about kind of, the advantages of our product, the advantages of our people, the advantages of kind of what we have. And just getting the word out has its own sort of sets of advantages. In terms of growing pains, just hiring people and um, building up an organization. It's really more about the culture, about bringing people in, about hiring the right people. For me, it's always been my experience that hiring the wrong person is usually sort of about twice as expensive as hiring, as about hiring not hiring
Yeah.
someone at all because of, and so it's just sort of making sure that the people that we get have the same culture, have the same passion, have the same drive that kind of we expect, and so that's more the growing pain than anything else. The rest is just kind of the blocking and tackling of the business, creating the systems, creating the incentives where people can thrive, those kinds of things. That's just the blocking and tackling of the business.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of hiring managers and recruiters who, when you made that point about hiring the wrong person being twice expensive, probably all just nodding vigorously at that, because I think that's something that probably every business has experienced. You've talked a lot about kind of listening to your customers and sort of that's part of kind of relationship management and dealing with accounts. Maybe this might be a bit of a left field question, but let's say you've got a casino that you've worked with for many years and is a loyal customer. Could you walk me through, let's say a Passport Technology machine has an issue? And I'm not saying it will have an issue, right? But let's say it does, and these things happen in business. As a payments provider, how do you respond? What do you do in that situation?
We have a couple different levels of response. Depending upon the severity of it, typically, there's a help desk that they can call into for minor responses. For the things that are more major, they'll typically deal directly with one of our key people. It could go through a relationship manager to start with. We have technicians that go out in the field. So depending upon whether it's simply a technical issue, we can send someone out there to deal with it. In other cases where we have potentially more problematic issues, we'll have direct contact with some of our key folks, including Diallo and including John Steely, who will try and resolve the situation and bring all the resources of the company to it. Nothing ever goes perfectly. We understand that, and we try and do our best in these cases to try and resolve the issues that come up, and we try and bring kind of the highest level of attention to it.
Yeah, I think the point about nothing going perfectly, I think that's an important one, because I think probably well, this might just be my opinion, but it's a better sign of a business how you deal with something that doesn't go perfectly than how it runs when everything's going smoothly. Yeah. Really enjoyed talking with you so far, and I just leaves me one key area to ask you about as we head into G2E and into 2024. Quite a broad question to sign off with. Can you tell us about your aims and your future goals, and like I say, especially as we kind of close out 2023 and head into a new calendar year?
Yeah. So as we close this year out, we have some major customer installs that we're engaging in and we're performing and we're going to execute on. So our goal is to execute those flawlessly, and really set the standard going into the next year. The next year it's about managing the growth that we have. It's about building out some of our product set, and it's about kind of really sort of establishing kind of the loyalty and the payments business as an ecosystem and what we do with that, and really proving out kind of the value proposition that we bring to the casinos. And once we do that, I think the rest of the goals will fall into place, as opposed to kind of, here's my financial goal, here's what these are the things that I want to do with the business. And when we do them, I think the rest of that is going to fall into place, based upon kind of some of the other stuff that we talked about with, the restructuring and the systems that we have in place and things like that. So that's really what we're focused on.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, really enjoyed speaking with you, Cleve, and best of luck with everything that you're looking to achieve. Hopefully I can see you and say hello at G2E. But
yeah,
in the meantime,
just stop by.
Yeah, brilliant. We'll do. And in the meantime, thanks very much for speaking with us.
Okay, thank you, Tim.